This net is all about ham radio and being all that you can be. That's what our QSO-VLOG network is all about, trying to help people achieve the best sounding station possible. Thanks for dropping by. FYI, my background is 50 years in commercial broadcasting, where a lot of big bucks are spent on audio processing equipment and getting it set up correctly to get the loudest, fullest sounding station possible. Well, long story short, when I became a ham radio operator, I could hear immediately a large discrepancy in on-air technical proficiency. A lot of stations were running with very poor mic equalization, very muddy, with little articulation. And as I continued to work stations, I realized most of the stations were also running very low average peak modulation, many around 30% of average peak modulation. So with my background, I felt I could help, or at least try. I knew that most modern-day ham transceivers did have enough onboard processing equipment to be able to overcome most all of the problems. So it would just be a matter of developing a generic dynamic range setup procedure and then adjusting the onboard EQ gear. And so I started the QSO-VLOG network with the phrase, "If you have a radio you want to check out, give us a shout." And today we're currently featuring over 1,850 QSO-VLOG Aircheck recordings. Our mission statement for the network is to establish a higher technical level of radio transmissions of the human voice by the intelligent utilization of available electronics in current amateur radio transceivers. Our setup, while generic in nature, converts the average 10 dB dynamic range transmitter with an average 30% of peak modulation to a much fuller 3 dB dynamic range with an average of 80 to 85% of peak modulation. This substantial boost in audio transmit level is extremely beneficial in high noise levels and heavy QRM. It allows you to punch through when others fail. The second part of our transmitter setup has to do with proper mic equalization. We're looking to optimize the transmitted voice for a higher degree of intelligibility through the use of EQ patterns that bring out the articulation aspects of the human voice. Again, why need to hear the voice if you can't understand the words? Also this afternoon on the receive side, we're running 4 Internet SDR receivers, monitoring New York, Pennsylvania, Georgia, and Virginia, trying to get the best copy possible from our 100-watt friends. Now the audio from these 4 SDR receivers comes up on a 6-position rotary selector. Also on the selector is our local receiver audio. And today, our local receiver is running 3 large 10-foot vertical magnetic loop antennas, one aimed at 0 degrees, one aimed at 90 degrees, and the number 3 is aimed at 134 degrees. In addition, 2 of the 3 may be rotated separately. They are selected by a 6-position rotary selector. Also today on the transmit side, we'll be running our no SWR specially oriented dipole antenna. One leg of this dipole is broadside to Montreal, Canada. The other leg is broadside to Miami, Florida. As we were constructing our station, our mantra was 20 over from Montreal to Miami with a hotspot through the Carolinas. And although conditions may vary, the general performance of this antenna supports its mission. Also today, we'll be running our input source indicator, so when we switch from an Internet SDR receiver to our local receiver, you'll be able to hear the switch and see the switch. You'll have to check it out on our YouTube QSO-VLOG video. And as we come together for another Friday afternoon QSO-VLOG network, let us pause just a moment for the amateur radio operator's prayer. Lord, we pray for clear 20 over S9 communications today. Let all our transmissions fill the air and reach their destinations QSA5 to be understood by all. And as we pray for good radio conditions, let us also pray for good human conditions. During this time of pandemic that has challenged us all, we pray that you'll protect everyone, especially our elderly. And also, Lord, we seek your divine intervention to bring peace to a very divided United States. As we go through a very conflicting time in America's history, with dark clouds all around, we pray that you will reduce life's daily political QRM between our brothers and sisters. And through your love and guidance, show us the way to find peace and harmony. Help us to communicate with one another 20 over S9. Thank you, Lord, and God bless and protect America. Amen. To continue, since this is an area of the band where we have many networks trying to operate in a very confined area, I would appreciate all stations checking into our QSO-VLOG net to keep their bandpass to no wider than 100 to 2900. Again, please, no wider than 100 to 2900. This is the Friday afternoon QSO-VLOG network. And now let's check in and see if Charlie, K1GZL, is on frequency to bring us up to date on the latest 40-meter band propagation. Charlie's QTH is up north in northern New Hampshire, near the Canadian border. Charlie, got a copy?
Copying you solid, 5 and a little over 5.9 direct. KC9VKV, K1GZL, you copy.
Roger, Charlie, I've got you on my local antenna. My Milford, for some reason, has switched frequencies. So let me work on that. I'll have that up in just a momento. And good afternoon to you, sir.
Yeah, good afternoon. You're coming in very well. There's a little side splatter, but not bad. We've gotten the leaves have hit their maximum color. That was 2 days ago. So anyway, this is now Friday. It was on Tuesday, the 5th of October, 2021. We had the maximum color. Now we've lost maybe about 20% of the leaves, and they're starting to lose their color. And the temperature out is somewhere in the low to mid 60s at the present time. So I'll turn it back to you, and I have a little bit of Captain Mike on here recorded about 4 days ago when he was heading, I believe, west at the time to Sacramento, and also when he was on the ground on the ramp in Sacramento, California. If you copy, KC9VKV, K1GZL.
Roger, Charlie. Well, I finally kicked Milford in the shins and got it running. And you're doing about 140 over in Milford, if you can believe that.
Well, I'm glad to know we're getting down there. I don't get the power output by any means up here on 7188. My antenna's tuned further down. But here's Captain Mike. Let me see if I got him. Here we go.
Yeah, it's 4 Whiskey Charlie. We're just passing Fort Dodge, Iowa there, Charlie. We're at just climbed up to 36,000 feet here with 1,280 miles still to go. And our UTA is looks like about 940, Charlie, 940 into Sacramento your time. We've got we're only doing about 450 knots here. We're just weighing just under 320,000 pounds, so a little heavy here, but on the far back here, facing north in Sacramento on 20. There's a great copy there. KX4 Whiskey Charlie. Over to you there, Charlie. 4 Whiskey Charlie on the ground in Sacramento. We're facing north here on 20 meters. It's right now 0145Z, and I'm hearing both you guys 59 plus. Your great copy on you, Charlie, and also on the cap.
Okay, there it is. I hope you copied it. KC9VKV, K1GZL.
Roger, Charlie. Perfect copy. And today I have some good news to pass along. Last week, for the second year in a row, it was our honor to receive a good operator notice from Riley Hollingsworth, K4ZDH. He is the administrator of the joint ARRL-FCC Volunteer Monitor Program. And I read, September 29, 2021, good operator notice for KC9VKV. The ARRL takes great pleasure in informing you that one of our volunteer monitors has nominated you to receive this good operator notice. You were selected due to your exemplary operation during 2021, helping other operators with transmitter adjustments and signal improvements. With your regularly scheduled sessions, you have helped many operators learn more about amateur radio and become better at this wonderful avocation. Thank you for setting a great example for all amateur radio operators and for your contribution to amateur radio. The Volunteer Monitor Program is a joint program between the ARRL and the Federal Communications Commission to enhance the rural compliance in amateur radio service. Signed sincerely, W. Riley Hollingsworth, K4ZDH, Administrator, ARRL Volunteer Monitor Program. And my email response back to Mr. Hollingsworth reads, "It is with great pride I accept this good operator notice of recognition on behalf of all of my fellow amateur radio operators that have contributed so much in their time and effort to support this QSO-VLOG network. Thank you and all the folks at ARRL. Signed, Jim, KC9VKV. And Charlie, I tip my hat to you for being a major contributor to our success. Roger?
Contributed to our success, Roger.
Thank you so much for that. And you certainly are contributory toward the hobby and everyone else. Also about trying to improve the communication. So it's a wonderful thing that you're doing, and it helps the amateurs to get everything lined up properly, and you certainly do. You certainly do. You certainly do. I'm trying to think of the right word here, and I can't seem to get it out of my head at the moment. But you enjoy all of that that the ARRL did mention. So congratulations again. Congratulations again. And I think it's a wonderful thing that you're doing for the whole ARRL. And of course, I did work at ARRL as operator in the summer of 1951. 1951, when my call at that time was W2 Zebra George, W2ZGG, and that was less than a year before I ended up in the Navy. So I want to congratulate you again for this accomplishment that you did do there. In fact, you're coming in real well here.
A joint program between the ARRL and the Federal Communications Commission to enhance the rural compliance in amateur radio service.
And you certainly enjoy it. KC9VKV, K1GZL.
Roger, Charlie. Thank you so very much, sir. Yes, and congratulations to you and everyone who has contributed to our QSO-VLOG net from the past year there, all through the year. It's our pleasure. So let me say 73 up that way, Charlie. Thanks for checking in, as always, and we'll see you next Friday. Roger?
See you next Friday, Roger.
Roger. There's this possibility that I may have to go through with follow-up testing, and it could mess up next Friday. But if I'm not, I certainly should be on the following Friday. But I'd say it's probably about, well, over a 50% chance we should be here. So the very best, Jim, and congratulations on that award. And you certainly deserve it. You deserve that 100%. KC9VKV, hopefully see you next Friday. K1GZL, Clarksville, Northern New Hampshire, 73.
Roger, Charlie, and you have fallen back to 138 over S9 on the Milford SDR. 73, sir. This is the Friday afternoon QSO-VLOG net. My name is Jim, Juliet India Mike, better known in some circles as Dr. VKV, and we are recording now live till 5, so if you have a radio you want to check out, give me a shout.
Victor Alpha 3, Victor Mike Delta.
Victor Alpha 3 station, come back slowly, phonetically with your call sign, please.
Hey, Jim, good afternoon from Toronto. It's your good friend Vito. Victor America 3, Victor Mike Delta. Salutations from the North Country.
Yes, sir. Well, thank you very much, sir. Boy, you're booming in here. Well, into Milford. I'm still on the Milford SDR, and I think you were like about a 15 over there, Roger.
Oh, about a 15 over there, Roger.
Yeah, very good, Jim. We haven't stopped in there for a while, and we just thought we'd give you a shout, see how you're doing, and congratulations on the great RL on your just fantastic work with all the amateur community and the help that you're doing for all the amateurs. Great job. 100 more years there, Jim. Over.
Well, thank you so very much, sir. Your audio is just beautiful today. You have been working on that, Roger?
You have been working on that, Roger?
Well, you know what? I think we locked it down with Gorilla Glue quite a while back there, Jim. Maybe it's just because maybe you're copying me a little stronger today, but no, it's the 70.
It's the 7300 with the 8-band UR6QW and the Electro Voice RE20. So we haven't touched anything. We're in autopilot, Roger.
Roger that. I just went over to Arlington SDR to see what your true audio curve is. Arlington is about the only one that has a full bottom end down to and past 100 cycles, and it really looks good. And it looks good and sounds good also in the other SDRs, just not as much bottom end because they're rolling it off, Roger.
They're rolling it off, Roger.
Yeah, very good, Jim. I hope everything is going well with you. We heard Charlie in there, and he was booming in here as well. He was a good 20 over, but I'm not going to tie it there too long, Jim, because you know I'm kind of a regular on here. It's just that I hadn't stopped in for a while, and I definitely wanted to tip my hat off to you from up here in Unionville, Ontario, just north of Toronto.
Roger. Well, I always appreciate it when you check in. Your signal is always just beautiful, and I really appreciate the time that you take. And I consider you a part of the our notice of good operator, radio operator citation, and because you are a nice contributor, Roger.
A nice contributor, Roger.
Yeah, I appreciate it, Jim. I know a few times we've kind of come to your aid when it came to the configuration menus on the 7300, and it's always my pleasure. Helping you out is never an issue side, and you do a good job without us anyways, Jim. You really don't need my help. Back to you.
Roger. Well, thanks for checking in, and you have a great afternoon and a beautiful weekend coming up, Roger.
Yeah, thanks, Jim. It's the Canadian Thanksgiving this weekend, so we'll be doing a little turkey at my sister's place and watching a little NFL football and maybe having a glass or two of cheer. So I know yours isn't until November, but we celebrated a little bit earlier here in Canada. So on that note, my friend, 73 and many good returns, and we'll look for you down the log like we always do. VA3 VMD up here in Unionville, 73 there, Jim, and have yourself a wonderful weekend.
Roger, VMD 73, sir, and sounding great. This is the Friday afternoon QSO-VLOG net. We record now live till 5, so if you have a radio you want to check out, give me a shout.
Whiskey Speaker 9, Mike Sierra Mike.
Mike Sierra Mike, come back with your call sign slowly phonetically, please.
Yes, sir. Good afternoon, Jim. This is Denny, WB9 MSM. Whiskey Bravo 9, Mike Sierra Mike. I'm located in Wisconsin.
Roger, Mike Sierra Mike. Why don't you give me about 10 seconds and tell me about your antenna system. Let me look around and see if I can find us a better path, Roger.
Yes, that sounds fine, Jim. Delta Echo Nancy 17. 250 watts. 250 watts into, I actually have a double bazooka antenna for 80 and 40 meters, and it's up roughly around 30 to 35 feet, Jim. And I've talked to you before. I built my own frequency counter, Jim, and I'm just serious if I'm pretty much on frequency with my old Swan. I have it set to 7.1 EE, and that's what the frequency counter is reading, Jim. So you might just comment. KC9VKV, Indiana, Whiskey Baker 9, Mike Sierra Mike, Wisconsin.
Roger, Roger, Mike Sierra Mike. You might be just ever so slightly high on frequency. Just ever so slightly. Not even maybe a click. It's just really close. It's just, I wouldn't sweat it. Close enough for government work, Roger?
What is it? Close enough for government work, Roger?
Yeah, very, very good, Jim. I'm putting together a YouTube video on how I built this little frequency counter, and I'm telling you what, Jim, it's really seeming to work out. I am finding, however, that I do have some drift, and it's about 10 hertz. I will drift about 10 hertz. However, it stabilizes pretty good. And if I get too far off frequency, I'll just tweak it a little bit. But it seems like it's about 10 hertz, Jim. But you're sounding great here in Wisconsin. Very, very nice signal, as always, Jim. Over.
Roger, Roger. Now, you're speaking of drift on the frequency counter or the Swan?
On the frequency counter or the Swan?
I think it's on the Swan. The Swan. I'm noticing it, though, on the frequency counter when I see the frequency shift just a little bit. But right now it's saying 7.18.
Roger that. Now, the power supply for your frequency counter, is it a battery supply, or are you AC supplying that power for the frequency counter?
Power for the frequency counter.
That is AC, Jim. It's an old Rig Blaster wall wart power supply. And I utilize that as the actual 12 volts for the frequency counter.
Roger, Roger. Well, depending on how much power that frequency counter takes, you might find that if you isolate that power supply to a battery power supply for the frequency counter, you might see a better regulation of the frequency. In other words, you could be picking up RF on that power lead into the frequency counter, or any number of things. But you might try it just under battery power and see how that works, Roger.
Power and see how that works, Roger.
Yeah, I can do it very easily with battery power. I do have a 9-volt battery that I can use. However, I opted not to do that primarily because sometimes I leave my radio on, Jim, for a couple hours at a time. I may have it going on in the background, and I figured, boy, I'll just wear that battery down to nothing. But in a pinch, I could put that on, no problem. And I will check that, Jim. That's a very, very good suggestion.
Roger, Roger. Well, if you happen to have a field strength meter, you might sample around that DC input from the wall wart to see if you have any RF there in the beginning. If you don't see any RF with a field strength meter, there's nothing there to actually be more positive about running battery versus AC, Roger.
Battery versus AC, Roger.
Yes, that's a good idea. Very good idea. Well, I don't want to jeopardize this conversation here. I'll let you carry on with other guys, but I wanted to jump in to say hello to you there, Jim. Over.
Roger, well, I know we've had experiences with that swan in the past, and you have been kind of here and there with the frequency. So just today, you're a lot closer than you've ever been. So that field strength meter, that frequency counter is definitely doing a good job for you, Roger.
Counter is definitely doing a good job for you, Roger.
Yes, Roger, Jim. It certainly is, and it's so nice. It comes through beautiful, Jim. And what's really nice about it is it's actually fairly decent how I built it. It's kind of but that's a whole other story for another time. But anyway, thank you, sir. And I will say 73 to my friend in Indiana. And I will chat again another time. Thank you, sir.
Roger, 73, sir. You have a great afternoon and a beautiful weekend. This is KC9VKV, the Friday afternoon QSO-VLOG net. If you have a radio you want to check out, give me a shout.
Radio you want to check out, give me a shout.
This is Kilo Charlie 9, Victor, Kilo Victor, the Friday afternoon QSO-VLOG net. From now until 5, we record live, then we take that recording and post it up on YouTube. And if you have participated, if you go to YouTube and do a call letter search for Kilo Charlie 9, Victor, Kilo Victor, along with today's date, 10/8/21, that will take you directly to this recording. Now, if you just do a call letter search for KC9VKV, that will take you to our QSO-VLOG page, where we're currently featuring about 1,850 recorded QSO-VLOG programs. And you can go through there and check out a lot of folks' audio and say, hey, I like his, I don't like his, I like mine better than his, or I like his better than mine. It's all about options and being able to see what your neighbor's doing audio-wise. This is KC9VKV listening.
Whiskey 9, Whiskey Bravo.
Whiskey 9 station, come back slowly phonetically with your call sign, please.
Good afternoon. Whiskey 9, Whiskey Bravo. Whiskey 9, Whiskey Bravo. Name here is Kent. Kilo Echo November Tango.
I copy that as Clint. Is that a Roger?
November Tango. Kilo Echo November Tango.
Copy as Kent, as in Clark. Roger?
Roger.
Roger. Mobile this afternoon. The radio is CS48. Model band, a vertical pole on the ridge line here. Southwest of Chicago, about 50 miles southwest of Chicago this afternoon. Go ahead.
Roger, Kent. Well, I have gone through my SDRs and I went to my local antenna, and I'm on my loop 1, which is pointed at 0 degrees, so I'm headed your way. Roger, where did you say you were?
I'm currently in Naperville, Plainfield, Illinois, 50 miles southwest of Chicago, 50 miles west-southwest of Chicago, and running just 75 watts today, not pushing it to 100, just running 75 watts. Go ahead.
Roger, Kent. What radio was that you're running?
This is the Kenwood TS480, Tango Sierra 480 SAT, the Sierra Alpha Tango, the 480 SAT.
Roger that. And you're mobile, and you're doing what? You said 75 watts?
QSL, 75 watts. This is my afternoon commute home for a Friday of a long week. Go ahead.
Roger. May I ask, what you're into as far as work, if you could reveal that?
Sure, yeah. I'm a coordinator for a group for a school district out this way. So we take care of all the networking, wired equipment, wireless equipment, telecom systems, two-way radios, cell phones, all that kind of equipment. We have a larger team that takes care of all the tech for that district, but my smaller team just takes care of the networking aspect.
Roger, Roger, Kent. Well, you're sounding good in that mobile. Gosh, glad to have you aboard, Roger. Audio sounds good, Roger.
Well, much appreciated. I've been curious about recordings sound on YouTube. Go ahead.
Roger, Roger. Well, I am on my local antenna, and it is a little noisy. You're about 5 dB over my local noise level, but this is the best signal that I've got. I've gone through all my other SDRs and not really have a better copy. So there you go. So if you will, give us a couple of days, we'll have it uploaded to YouTube. And you go to YouTube, do a call letter search, KC9VKV, followed by today's date, 10/8/21. It'll take you right to this recording. Roger.
That's much appreciated. That's a great service you're providing, and look forward to hearing it. You're between S5 and S7
Roger, Roger, Kent. Well, listen, let me say 73 to you, sir. Thanks for dropping by, and we'll catch you down the road maybe next Friday if you get a chance. 73, sir. This is KC9VKV, the Friday afternoon QSO-VLOG net. If you have a radio you want to check out, give me a shout.
Kilo Charlie 3, Oscar November uniform.
Kilo Charlie 3 station, come back slowly phonetically with a call sign.
Kilo Charlie 3, Oscar November uniform. The name here is Chris.
Okay, I kind of lost that last. Kilo Charlie 3, Oscar November. What was the last of the call?
Uniform.
Oscar November uniform, Roger. And what's the name?
Chris. The name here is Chris.
Is that CHRIS?
Roger, Roger.
Roger, Chris, and whereabouts are you located, sir?
Yes, sir. We're here in southern Maryland, about an hour south of Washington, D.C., right next to the Chesapeake Bay. Right next to the Chesapeake Bay and the Patuxent River. Over.
Roger, Roger. I just went to my Milford SDR, and you looks to be about 15 over there. And what is the radio that you're running?
Roger. The radio we are running is the Yaesu ST DX10. We're feeding that into an off-center fed dipole, flat top configuration, and she's about 45 feet up. It's a Buckmaster 3000.
Yes, sir. Well, gosh, your audio, your 3 dB dynamic range, which is exactly on target there. And the only thing I might mention is if you might punch up your top end, your treble EQ a couple of clicks, that would help in your articulation. Just a couple of clicks more top end. Roger?
Roger, Roger. A triple EQ, couple of clicks up. Got it. Thank you so much. I appreciate all your knowledge there.
Thank you, sir. And like I say, your radio there is just perfectly set as far as dynamic range. That limiter is just working beautiful. It's a Stonewall limiter. It just hits right at, have you calibrated at 0, and so your peaks are right at 0 consistently. So that limiter is doing a great job. Beautiful radio. Thanks for dropping by, and give us a couple of days. We'll have this uploaded to YouTube, and you can hear your fine audio. Roger.
Roger, Roger. Thank you for picking me up. Happy Friday, and God bless. 73s from Southern Maryland.
Roger, Roger, sir. 73, sir. Have a great afternoon and a beautiful weekend. This is KC9VKV, the Friday afternoon QSO-VLOG net, recording now live till 5. So if you have a radio you want to check out, give me a shout. Station calling, I've got somebody tuning up. Try one more time, see if I can find a better path for us. I couldn't find one at that point as far as a better path. Let me see if I can. Sometimes Georgia comes up like gangbusters here. Let me see if I can bring them up, and they kind of bowed out there, got disconnected, so I'm coming back. Actually, not to exactly Atlanta. This is another SDR. down in Georgia that works fairly well. So, station, come back here with your call sign again. Let me see if I got a copy on you.
Station, come back here with your call sign again. Let me see if I got a copy on you.
I still don't have you, sir. Just right now you're under my noise level. So maybe as the afternoon goes on, if I come up to you, why don't you try to give me another shout and we'll see how it goes. But right now you are under my noise. So 73, and we'll catch you a little bit later. This is the KC9VKV QSO-VLOG net. If you have a radio you want to check out, give me a shout.
If you have a radio you want to check out, give me a shout.
Your signal, I think this is the most strong signal that I ever have. About 40 dB over 5.9, clear and loud. Okay, back to you. KC1 GWB, KC1 ATW, over.
Yeah, KC1 station, come back with your call sign again, slowly, phonetically, please.
Call sign again, slowly, phonetically, please.
KC1 station, you were very loud. I just caught the last end of your call sign. So if you would repeat your call sign slowly, phonetically.
Yeah, Kilo Charlie 1, Golf Whiskey Victor.
Golf Whiskey Victor. Golf Whiskey Victor. Roger, roger. What's the name there?
Victor. Roger, roger. What's the name there?
Golf Whiskey Victor station, do you copy KC9VKV?
Victor station, do you copy KC9VKV?
Golf Whiskey Victor, my name is Gabe, G-A-B-E.
Roger, Gabe. Well, I tell you, man, it's like being a one-armed paper hanger. I just keep getting kicked off these SDRs left and right. Now, I had you perfectly on Milford, and then Milford said, hey, I can't let you stay on here. You violated something, so I got to kick you off. And so there you go. But I'm bringing Milford back up, and I think you were like about 15 or 20 over on Milford. So, Gabe, come back and tell me what radio you're running and where you are.
Gabe, come back and tell me what...
I'm running a Yaesu FT891, and I am in Andover, Massachusetts.
Roger on the 891 in Massachusetts. And tell me a little bit about your antenna system, sir. Give me about 10 or 15 seconds and tell me about your antenna system.
I just have an inverted V set up. We're at a campground in Harold Parker State Park, and I just have an inverted V set up with current balun going straight from the radio.
Roger, roger. Well, you're hitting Milford. It looks like about 15 or 20 over, so you have a very strong signal there. Roger, roger.
Strong signal there. Roger, roger.
Can you tell me your call sign one more time?
Roger, the call here is Kilo Charlie 9 Victor, Kilo Victor. And I'm just curious, are you monitoring Internet SDR or are you copying direct, sir?
You're copying direct, sir.
I am copying you direct, sir, and I got Kilo Charlie 9. Please tell me the rest one more time.
Roger, roger. Kilo Charlie 9 Victor, Kilo Victor. Kilo Charlie 9 Victor, Kilo Victor. The name is Jim. Juliet India Mike. Roger.
Juliet India Mike. Roger.
Jim, good to meet you. I copied you as Kilo Charlie 9 Victor, Kilo Victor. We also ran into someone else on the campground, and I think you may have picked him up. His name is Dong, and his call sign is Kilo Charlie 1 Alpha Tango Whiskey. Dong, I don't know if you can still hear us, but if you do, please call in.
Did you say his call is Alpha Charlie Whiskey?
His call is Alpha Charlie Whiskey.
ATW returning. Yeah, I got the Jim's signal about the 57, 100% copy. And then, yeah, nice to meet you, Jim and Gabe. Oh, so it's I thought I was only guy in this park, but yeah, I found Gabe and Dave just before. So yeah, I can copy Jim's signal 100%. So yeah, let me return back to Jim. Okay, KC9VKV with KC1 GWB. This is KC1ATW. Over.
Roger, ACW. Now you guys are going to have a fight in the park trying to work that park. You got to work together. I don't see how you could possibly work double in that park. It's not that big a park, probably.
It's not that big a park, probably.
Yeah, actually, yeah, we are camping, and then I arrived here yesterday, and then I just to you, KC9VKV, KC1ATW, over.
Roger. Well, let me say 73 to you guys up there if you want to hear your radio's sound. We're recording now live till 5, so if you go to YouTube and do a call letter search for KC9VKV, that's Kilo Charlie 9 Victor Kilo Victor, along with today's date, 10/8/21, I'll take you right to this recording and give us a couple of days to get it uploaded to YouTube. Roger?
To YouTube, Roger.
Fine business, QSL. Actually, I am recording this video as well. It's a great joy. So, by the way, I am running about 100 watts with 16 feet antenna. So could you give me my signal report back to you, KC9VKV, KC1ATW, over.
Roger. Well, I'm really light in the front end RF-wise on my receiver so as not to have AG pump up. So I have your audio coming out of the radio into a view meter. So I'm looking at your audio signal, and I have your audio set for 0 level on peaks. And when you cease speaking, there is the residual noise, and it's down around -7 or -8. So you are 7 to 8 dB above my local, above the Milford PA-SDR level. Roger?
PA-SDR level, Roger.
Okay, 5 minutes, QSL, yeah, 5 to, 7, around the 7, QSL, good, yeah, good to hear that. Okay, then again, let me, back to the game, KC1, GWB with KBB, this is a KC1ATW, over.
This is Gabe, KC1GWV. It's great to meet both of you guys, and Don, great to meet you in person. What a good surprise here on this beautiful day in Andover, Massachusetts. This is KC1GWV, 73 to you both, clear.
Roger, Gabe. You are about 4 to 5 dB hotter than ACW there. You do have a really good audio just up against the wall, so you're, like I said, about 5 dB hotter than the other station. So let me say 73 to you guys. Sounding good from the park. Have a great afternoon and enjoy the weekend. This is KC9VKV, the Friday afternoon QSO-VLOG net. If you have a radio you want to check out, give me a shout.
KC1ATW,
W9, United X-ray,
W9 station, come back slowly phonetically with the call sign.
Yes, Whiskey 9, United X-ray.
United X-ray, Roger, what's the name?
X-ray, Roger, what's the name?
The name here is Marvin. Mike Alpha Romeo, Victor India, November, over.
Roger, Marvin, and whereabouts are you located, sir?
Marvin, and whereabouts are you located? sure did, sir.
Hey, all right. Jim, good evening to you. I'm located just south of the city of Chicago. I'm roughly about 13 miles just south of the Chicago city limits, and about 2.5, 3 miles. Indiana borderline out here in the suburbs called Linwood. Linwood, Lima Yankee November, Whiskey Oscar Delta, Linwood, Illinois. Over.
Roger that, Marvin. Well, I've got you on my local antenna system on the 90-degree 10-foot vertical magnetic loop. Your audio is just really sounds good. I haven't really looked at it on the spectrum analyzer, but it has a fairly broad content. So why don't you come back and give me about 10, 15 seconds about your antenna system, and let me look at your audio on the spectrum analyzer.
All right, QSL on that. I think I may have checked with you once before, a while back, but not for sure. But the antenna here is a Force 12. It's a C4 SXL, 8-element Yagi. Covers SXL, 8-element Yagi, to 40 meters, 2 meters. Pointed your way there, over.
Roger. I have so many options here. Sometimes it's crazy, but I wanted to hear your audio clearly, and most of these SDRs roll off starting at about 250 cycles, 300, 250 cycles. So to get a real picture of what you're doing, I either have to use Arlington SDR, which is a full range audio spectrum, or my local receiver stuff, which is good down to 100 cycles. But your audio curve does look very well. Now, I might comment on your dynamic range. I think we could probably fatten you up just a tad if you would be interested.
Well, I'll listen. I'll listen. I don't know if I'll ever change it or anything like that, but I will listen, and I take corrective criticism, no problem at all, and whatever you give me, I write it down there, over.
Roger. Okay, now I'm looking at your dynamic range again just at that moment on the Georgia SDR, and it looks like you are very close to being right on target there. Usually our setup procedure is to engage the compressor at a 3. It's just a very token amount that you'll never hear on the air, but it does exactly what it needs to do. And then after we get that compressor in line at about a 3, we run up to the ALC with mic gain in hand. And as we speak fairly rapidly, 100, 200, 300, we adjust the ALC for mid-scale to 2/3 by way of the mic gain control. Roger?
By way of the mic gain control, Roger.
Hey, Roger, on that, I got it compression at about 3, and the ALC at about mid-scale. While talking there, over.
Yes, sir. Now that's, the ideal spot, the sweet spot is that area halfway between mid-scale and 2/3. But you can't just ride there. You have to have some swing there. So we just say that spot is ALC is mid-range to 2/3. Roger?
Is mid-range to 2/3. Roger.
QSL on that mid-range between mid-scale and 2/3. Okay, got it. No problem, sir. Appreciate it very much, and may check into that. And we will be, I guess, checking for your YouTube page to come up also there, over.
Roger that. Now, on your equalization, you could stand to have a couple of clicks more top-end EQ. My personal preference would be 2 clicks boost top-end treble EQ. Roger?
And treble EQ. Roger?
2 clicks. Let me write that down. 2 clicks. Top-end. Got it.
Roger, Marvin. What radio are you running, sir?
Roger, Marvin. What radio are you running, sir?
Yeah, running here at the Yaesu FTDX 5000 MP, and the microphone is a Heil PR781 there, over.
Roger. Yeah, 2 clicks more treble EQ, I think, will increase your articulation and therefore your readability when you are in heavy QRM situations. Roger?
In the heavy QRM situations, Roger.
Roger. All right, appreciate it, sir. I'm going to get on out of your way, let you pick up some more guys that stand on the side. I do appreciate the settings over there. I did write them down.
We'll put it in, actually we're going to rewrite them again in the back of my log book here on one of my pages here. Just in case we get around to playing around inside the menu again. We'll may give those a try there for sure. That KC9VKV from Whiskey 9, your 9th X-ray, X-ray.
Roger, Marvin, 73, sir. Thanks for dropping by. If you get a chance, join us next Friday. We'd love to have you. This is KC9VKV, the Friday afternoon, QSO-VLOG.net. If you have a radio you want to check out, give me a shout.
Have a radio you want to check out, give me a shout. W4LJS in Lake Wiley, South Carolina. W4LJS.
LJS station, come back slowly phonetically with your call sign, please.
Station, come back slowly phonetically with your call sign, please. Sure, it's Whiskey 4, Lima, Juliet, Sierra. Whiskey 4, Lima, Juliet, Sierra.
Roger, LJS. And what radio are you running, sir?
LJS, and what radio are you running, sir? Oh, this is an oldie but a goodie, Jim. This is from 1978, a Yaesu FT901DM from the times past.
Sounding pretty good. Why don't you, what's the name there?
Sounding pretty good. Why don't you, what's the name there? Oh, name on this end is Larry, Jim, Larry, and down in Lake Wiley, South Carolina.
Roger, Larry. Well, why don't you give me about 10 or 15 seconds and tell me about your antenna system.
Oh, sure, Jim. I'm just running basically a dipole 130 feet in length that is fed by open wire ladder line. And this is Klein. Very old radio from 1978. Bought this thing new in 1978. The FT901.
Roger. I've gone through my SDRs. You're sounding beautiful almost everywhere. Finally on the Georgia SDR. Now I'm hearing just a little mid-range ping. I'm not sure exactly what that is. What kind of EQ does that radio have, out of curiosity?
Oh, this one has little to none. There's very few adjustments on these old radios. This thing was made back before they had. This is an oldie. There's the only thing that you really have on the radio is a processor which you can tweak up and down a little bit.
Roger that. Well, gosh, we might think about doing some mic equalization acoustically. How close are you working that microphone?
Oh, I'm about the 3-4 inch range. This is an old dynamic mic that I've had since 1978 as well. This was the original station from way back when.
Roger that. Just out of curiosity, why don't we, if you would, maybe back off mic a couple of more inches and just let me hear what it sounds like a couple of more inches back.
Okay, sure, I can do that. There we go. That'll be about maybe about 7 or 8 inches, something like that, with the microphone coming back, and everything looks pretty normal on the radio for what it's worth.
Roger. Well, your articulation portion of the audio spectrum came up quite a bit in relation to the bottom end, as we would expect when you have proximity effect in play as far as working the mic. I would say maybe working further back off mic might help your articulation. Now, if you do work that couple inches back, you might go back to your ALC and readjust your mic level to where the ALC is running mid-scale to 2/3. But I think you sound better just a little bit further off mic, Roger, or further back from the mic.
Well, that's good to know, Jim, because basically you're right. A lot of these dynamic mics do get I guess you call it a bass proximity effect and things like that, is this old radio here. Of course, it's a pair. It's a 12BY7 driver tube and a couple 6146s, and basically. This type of transmitter is, it's not very linear because the ALC has always been very peaky. It tends to really go up very, very quickly, and it's hard to set it in the middle. But I mainly thought I'd get on here so I get this on the recording, and I listened myself on the internet in a day or two, and I was curious what this old radio sounds like some 43 years later.
Yes, exactly. Well, I think that the new operating location for you in relation to the mic sounds better, but you obviously would be the one to make that judgment, so we have recorded the whole thing, and you can hear the difference between the one and the t'other if you go to YouTube and do a call letter search for Kilo Charlie 9 Victor Kilo Victor along with today's date 10/8/21. That will take you to this recording and give us a couple of days to get it uploaded to YouTube, Roger. Roger.
Yeah, Jim, thanks a lot. I just figured it'd be interesting to hear this radio recorded, and also I hadn't put it on the air in several months. I've actually got the thing entirely working, and everything works on it for its age, and of course, normally I'm using an FTDX 5000 here on the station, but I'd like to keep this one around. It was the first nice radio I ever bought. So, thanks for the recording, Jim. This is W4LJS.
Roger, Larry, 73 to you, sir. Thanks for dropping by, and then we'll catch you next week if you could choose to drop by. This is KC9VKV, the Friday afternoon QSO-VLOG net. If you have a radio you want to check out, give me a shout.
Echo 3, Papa, Charlie, Papa, Papa, Charlie, Papa.
Papa, Charlie, Papa, good afternoon, sir.
Yeah, very good afternoon, Jim. Rob up here in Verhuren, so wanted to check back with you again today. I did get the new blocking capacitors in, so I've remade the audio cable. They don't mean to in with you, and it's much difference it made, but I thought I would check in with you and see how it sounded this week. KC9VKV V3.
Roger, Rob. Well, I went around the horn there. I don't have really a good copy locally, but you're sounding really good again in Milford. And I did run down to Arlington just to check the lower frequencies, and I think you do have a little more lower frequency content than before, Roger.
A radio here called High Boost, which is it's supposed to boost the high-end audio frequencies on the radio. So I'm going to just turn it off. So right now it's on. I'll give you a count: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, now it's off. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And let me know if you notice any difference. P3 PCP.
Yes, sir. I think with it off, it sounds better. What happens is when you have it on, you have about a 3 dB push in the mids and upper mids, and it makes it sound really mid-rangey. Whereas with it off, it sounds a lot more natural, Roger.
Okay, very good. That's kind of what I suspected, but I can't really hear my audio, from the transmitter, so it's hard to know for sure. But and I am running the amplifier this afternoon, so hopefully getting a little bit more signal down to you than I was last week. So anyway, it's all good. And the cables, I went from 2.2 microfarad blocking capacitors to 2 times 4.7 microfarad, so up to 9.4 microfarad with a 2.2 k ohm resistor in series. So by calculation, that should give me a bandpass down to about 7 hertz. So I don't think I would need anything more than that. KC9VKV V3 PCP.
Sounds really good. Now let's see. I was going to mention something. On the On the compressor, you're not running your compressor, Roger?
On the compressor, you're not running your compressor, Roger?
No, negative. No compression at all. Just without it.
Yeah, Roger, because you are fairly fat there, and so I just want to make sure that that compressor wasn't in there. What you have is kind of a compression in the chain, so to speak, and so you wouldn't want any additional compression, Roger.
Wouldn't want any additional compression, Roger.
Yeah, QSO, very good. Yeah, okay, well, I turned the mic gain down just a touch on the RC Forbes graphics user interface there, GUI for short, and I don't know whether that, changed it. It probably didn't change it a whole lot, but I am recording this again today, so I'll post this recording to YouTube and send you the link as well. So, and I really can't change the what receive audio gets recorded. I don't have the same sort of setup as what you have, so the receive audio that's coming through is just whatever's coming out of the radio. So, it does go through the graphic equalizer on the computer, but I don't know how much it actually changes it. It does shape it a little bit. I can adjust the equalizer on receive, and I can hear the change happening. But anyway, so I can't really broaden the spectrum of what audio I'm getting through the radio QSO.
Freight is way down the band.
Station, Roger, Rob, other station, what was your comment?
Rob, other station, what was your comment? I said he's off frequency, he's down the band.
Sounds good to me. Does not sound off frequency to me, sir.
Sounds good to me. Does not sound off frequency to me, sir. Well, okay, alrighty, but that's the way I'm here anyway. W8WIO here.
Roger, do you hear him, his frequency response shifting up and down because of the frequency, or does his voice sound right and just something else?
Does his voice sound right and just something else? No, he just sounds like he's down the band about 50, 60 hertz.
Roger, it sounded good to me, so I don't know what to say. Do I sound all right to you?
No, I don't know what to say. Do I sound all right to you? Oh, yeah, you're perfect. Yeah, you certainly are. Okay, I'll let you go, but that's the high-pitched sound, and then I just went searching for him, and I found him down the band. That's why he's got all those mids and highs, because he's down the band to my ear. Okay, I'll let you go, 7-3, and you continue on, W8WIL.
Roger, WIL, 73, sir, thanks. This is KC9VKV. Rob, back to you, sir.
KC9VKV. Rob, back to you, sir.
Yeah, okay, very good. Well, I've never had that sort of feedback before. The rig is right on frequency at 7.188, so maybe I'm pushing the amplifier a little bit too much. Let me just shut the amplifier off here. Okay, the amplifier's off, so I don't know whether that made a difference. Probably dropped my signal to you, Jim. KC9VKV, V3PP.
Roger, Rob, you dropped about 4 dB signal-wise as I'm looking at your audio on a VU meter, but and just a little bit more noise, but not anything else different, so that amp is doing fine, Roger.
Is doing fine, Roger.
Yeah, okay, very good. Yeah, I'm not overdriving it. It's an older amp as well. It's a Dentron GLA 1000B. So, and I don't put any more power into it. It's a real high power amp, only 200-300 watts, something like that. But anyway, only 100 watts, something like that. But anyway, I won't hold it, Jim. Good chatting this afternoon. Appreciate your feedback, and we'll look for you again another day. 7-3 for now. KC9VKV, V3PCP.
Roger, Rob. Again, let me mention that you are, in your mids. You do have quite a few mids there, and that's what we were talking about, trying to broaden that out with those heavier filter caps, those heavier blocking filter caps to get that frequency down. But do you have any equalization for the for the radio itself?
For the radio itself?
Well, the radio doesn't have an equalizer in it, but I have an equalizer in the Windows 10 computer that the audio is going through for the remote software. So, and I do have I've got the bottom end boosted up a fair bit. I've got 31 cycles boosted up to 15, 62 cycles at about 13, 124 cycles at 10.2, 250 cycles at 8.3, 500 cycles at 7.3, 1,000 cycles at 9.5, 2K at 12.4, and 4K at 12.9.
Roger. Now, those mid-range frequencies are pumps, are a boost. 1K at 9, is that plus 9?
1K at 9, is that plus 9?
Yes, that's correct. Yeah, it's a. You'll see it when I set the recording to you, because I have it on the screen while I'm recording. So the 31 hertz is up as high as low, and the 500 hertz is down at 7.3. So it's about half as high as the 31 hertz QSO.
Roger. Well, what I'm hearing is heavy content about 1K. So just for grins, if you would be interested, maybe pull that 1K down. Usually, on an equalizer, I suggest keeping the mid-range flat. That is because it's so much easier to strike a balance from the top to the mid-range and the bottom to the mid-range if the mid-range is flat. If you boost the mid-range, then it's so much harder for the top to catch up for balance or the bottom to catch up for balance. So I usually recommend that frequencies between 750 cycles and 1.5K be flat. And then everything else is adjusted for balance to that, Roger. And that's so much the case that even the newer ICOM 7300s and the 7610s don't even put a mid-range EQ in there because you're striking a balance again, top to mid-range and bottom to mid-range. So they don't even want to put a mid-range EQ, so it's flat already. You can't even get to it, and it makes the setup so much easier. You just boost the top and the bottom till you come up with a balance. So anyway, I suggest that you flatten the mid-range and then see what you need to do EQ-wise, Roger.
Then see what you need to do EQ-wise, Roger.
Yeah, QSO. Okay, well, I dropped the 500 and 501K are at both at 7 and is still at 9.9, 262 at 12.9, and 31 at 15. So any difference there? B3 PCP.
Well, of course, Milford picks this time to kick me off, and I'm on my local, and you do have more content obviously on my local than you do on the SDRs, and it's not overpowering. So I would say I would run with that. What were those frequencies again on the mid-range?
Okay, so mid-range, I've got the scale goes from minus 15 to plus 15. So right now it's on the 250 hertz. I got it at 8.3 plus. 500 hertz is at 7.5 plus. 1K is at 7.1 plus. 2K is at 9.9 plus. And then 4K is at 12.9. 4K is at 12.9, but that's probably up out of the range that we're using here at QSO.
Yeah, Roger. All right, just out of kicks and for winks and all that stuff, pull that 1K down to flat. Flat 1K, flat 5. Let's see. Leave 500 where it is, flat 1K, and let's see what happens.
And let's see what happens.
Okay, very good. Okay, I've got the 1K is at 500 is at 6.4 and 6.9 right now. He's at 7.8 QSO.
Roger, you probably need to go back and touch up your ALC since you dropped +9 at 1K. Yeah, that your ALC is probably very low right now. I think it sounds better, man. You know, it still cuts, but it's not ringy at 1K, you know?
At 1K, you know?
Okay, very good. Yeah, I popped the mic gain up a little bit more there now. How's that sound?
Yeah, I think that's better. But you be the judge, buddy. We are recording, so you know, just go to YouTube and do that. Call it a search, KC9VKV, followed by today's date, 10/8/21, and that'll take you right here, Roger.
It'll take you right here, Roger.
Roger, Roger. Okay, very good, Jim. I'll let you go. Thank you very much for your time, and hopefully things are going well down Thanksgiving weekend this weekend. So, and this weekend, so we got a few activities planned. So hopefully you have a good weekend. Anyway, 7-3 Jim, good chatting, and good weekend. Anyway, 7-3 Jim, good chatting, and we'll talk to you again soon. KC9VKV V3PCP.
Roger, Roger, and I just went to Arlington there for the last little bit, so you can see on the spectrum analyzer a little bit more on the low-frequency content than on Milford. And you can see all what I'm doing there by my chevrons that shows everything I'm doing, every SDR I go to, what it is, where it is, and on my local receiver when it's on, and what antennas I'm using there. So you can see that whole thing as I'm working. These lights are flashing and telling you what I'm doing, Roger.
Yep, QSO, yeah, familiar with your setup there. So, okay, Jim, thanks very much. 7-3 for this afternoon, and you have a good weekend, and we'll talk to you again soon. KC9VKV V3PCP.
Roger, Roger. I think you like that better EQ without so much in the mids, because the more you push those mids, the more distortion there could be there. Because you know, that mid-range is a beast if you push it really hard, because that's the first place that you're going to find third-order harmonic distortion. That would be, we used to be anyway, I was thinking of when I was at HAS, one of our deals to check monitor was to find third-order harmonic distortion, and you know, it would just be, what we used there was a very low frequency. I think we used about 60 cycles, and push 60 cycles, and then you could hear the distortion because it was so much higher than the lower frequency. Anyway, there's bygone days. 73 up that way. Have a good afternoon, a beautiful weekend. This is KC9VKV, the Friday afternoon QSO-VLOG net. If you have a radio you want to check out, give me a shout.
Whiskey 9, Charlie, Papa Lima.
Charlie, Papa Lima, go ahead.
Papa Lima, go ahead. Whiskey 9, Charlie, Papa Lima, Mike in Sandwich, Illinois.
Roger, Mike in Illinois, and what radio are you running, sir?
I'm running a Yaesu FTDX 3000 through a Hustler 4DT vertical antenna, ground mounted.
Roger, Roger. Mike, give me that radio again, please.
That's a Yaesu FTDX 3000.
Roger on the 3000. And you're in Illinois? And gosh, why don't you give me a little bit more about your antenna? Give me about 10 or 15 seconds about your antenna system so I can listen to your audio, Roger.
Roger that. I've got a Hustler vertical antenna, ground mounted, with about 20 radios.
All right, and tell me the best thing you like about your radio.
Well, I like the sound of it, and it's not really menu-driven like most of the newer radios are now.
Roger. Okay, I've got you on my local antenna system. You're like about 10 or 15 over on my local receiver, and so I got a really good copy on you. And we have a setup procedure, if you might be interested, make you a little bit fatter and a little more intelligent intelligible level, Roger?
Sure. Yeah, that sounds good.
All right, it starts with you engaging your compressor at a 3. A compressor on at a 3. It's a token amount. You'll never hear it on the air, but it does exactly what we need it to do. So it begins with the compressor on at a 3. Roger?
Okay, on the number 3, Jim?
Yes, sir, number 3. That's a 3 out of 10, 30 out of 100. Roger?
Roger that. Okay, there it is. It's on number 3.
All right, sir. Now let's move to your ALC with mic gain in hand. And as you speak fairly rapidly, 100, 200, 300, bring your mic gain up to where your ALC is running mid-scale to 2/3. Mid-scale to 2/3 by way of mic gain manipulation.
Roger that. Okay, let me see here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Sounds like it's about right there.
All right, sir. Now let's move to your EQ page. Do you know where that is, sir?
Come again, Jim. I didn't hear that.
Roger, your equalization. Do you know how to get to your equalization page?
Well, I got equalizer here in front of me. It's turned off.
Oh, do you have an outboard EQ, or you're talking about your radio internal EQ?
No, the internal EQ.
All right, turn your internal EQ on and tell me what type of equalizer it is and what the readings are. Well, let's say, is it a 3-band EQ?
Okay, the equalizer is on. I'm not sure if it's a 3-band or not. It's the one inside of the radio, inside of the 8 loop.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And what do you see on that EQ page? Is it a treble, bass, and mid-range, or what? How does it read?
I'm not in the menu. I've just got it on the face of the radio, so I just turned it on. I'm not sure how to get to the menu.
Okay, let me give you a note then, so you can do this at your leisure when you find out how to adjust your equalization. What we need is more top-end EQ. I would say plus 4 clicks hotter treble EQ than where you are. Plus 4 clicks boost treble EQ from wherever you are at the moment. Roger? And I think that'll bring your articulation level up to just perfect, Roger.
Okay, yeah, I've got kind of a deep, soft voice anyway, so.
Yeah, it sounds good. It just needs a little more top-end articulation to balance, Roger.
Roger that, Jim.
All right, Mike 73, sir, and if you get a chance, join us next Friday. And we can hear what it sounds like after you get that EQ cranked in. If between now and then you want to hear where your audio is or was, if you go to YouTube and do a call letter search, Kilo Charlie 9 Victor, Kilo Victor, followed by today's date, 10/8/21, that will take you to this recording and give us a couple of days to get it uploaded. Roger?
Roger that. Thanks a lot for coming back to me and to help. I'll take a look on YouTube and see if I can hear it.
Yes, sir. And just out of FYI, you're giving me about a 10 over my noise level. You are 10 clicks over my noise level, so it's a really good signal. 73 there, Mike, and we'll catch you later, sir. Have a great afternoon, beautiful weekend. This is KC9VKV. We record now live till 5, about 10 minutes, so if you have a radio you want to check out, give me a shout.
Norway, Charlie 4, Oscar, Norway.
The Oscar Norway station, come back slowly, phonetically with your call sign.
Yeah, Roger, Joe, this is Norway, Charlie 4, Oscar, Norway, in North Carolina. How you doing today?
Doing fine. Gosh, you were blowing my head off, and then you kind of sunk down into my noise. So try one more time with your call sign. I've got Nancy, Charlie 4. Give me the whole thing again, please.
Yeah, Roger, KC9VKV, this is NC4ON. The handle is Stefan, that is Sierra Tango Echo Foxtrot Alpha November, and we are in North Carolina. Yeah, the amp just kicked out, I think it's Jim, and that was the reason why the signal just dropped. I hope it's holding up now. It should be okay. I have about 500 watts at the moment here. Back to you there, KC9VKV and C4ON. How copy?
Roger, Roger. Now, the name is Stefan, is that correct?
That's Roger.
Roger, Stefan. Yeah, you dropped about 5 clicks off my off my register there, and I said, "Man, Mother Nature's pretty bad today." But thank you for recognizing what the problem was and getting your amp back on. And what radio are we running today, Stefan?
Yeah, Roger, Jim, I think it is. We are on the Apache Lab, the 7000 Mark II, and yeah, I bought this radio a little bit over a year ago, Roger.
Yes, sir. Why don't you give me about 10 seconds and tell me about your antenna system, and let me hear you.
Yeah, Roger. Well, this antenna was just put up a week ago. This is an end-fed antenna for 160. It's about 256 feet long. And I feed it with one of the MEF transformers from my antennas. It's the MEF 107 Jim QSO.
Yes, sir. I went to my horizontal dipole antenna on my local receiver, and you're just gangbusters there. Must be about 15 or 20 over. And your audio curve looks really good. I'm looking at a spectrum analyzer, and the low end comes right, probably rolling off at about 150 cycles. But you have content down to 50 cycles for sure on the bottom end, Roger.
Yeah, Roger. Well, I cut it off at 125. That's the way I have set it here. But yeah, it's possible that indeed something gets through the low pass band there. But that's how we set it. And the highs right now is 4K. Roger.
Yes, sir. Curve looks really good. And if you go to YouTube and do a call and a search for KC9VKV followed by today's date, 10/8/21, like I say, we do have a spectrum analyzer on the set, and you can and you see your audio, and you can also see what we're doing as far as input and you know, our local receiver is good down to 100 cycles when you're looking at the spectrum analyzer. Roger.
Yes, good, Al. Very good. I appreciate you being here always on Fridays. I've listened to you many times, and also very strong copy on your station here, Jim, in Denver, North Carolina. You're about 10 to 20 over, so whatever you're doing there, it's working great. Appreciate the QSO today. Wish you a fantastic weekend, and looking forward to see the YouTube video. KC9VKV, this is NC4ON. 73 Smash, right?
Roger, Stefan. Yeah, I think you'll really love your audio, and the curve is just beautiful. 73, sir, and have a great afternoon and a beautiful weekend. All right, we're moving towards 5. At 5, I turn into a pumpkin, so if you want to check out your radio, give me a shout.
Germany Foxtrot.
There's a Germany Foxtrot station. Come back with a call sign again, please.
The call here is Alpha 2 Germany Foxtrot. We're in western New York State. Go ahead.
That's Alpha 2. Repeat the rest.
Alpha 2 Germany Foxtrot.
Roger, Germany Foxtrot. And what is the name?
The name here is Dave.
Roger, Dave. And where are you located? You gave me that, but give it to me again.
Okay, the location is actually about 20 miles south of Buffalo, New York, a place called East Aurora, New York.
Roger. And what radio are you running, Dave?
The rig here is an Anon 7000 DLE Mark II. That's driving a LA1K at about 400 watts at the moment on an inverted L.
All right. Why don't you give me more specifics on your inverted L, and let me listen to your audio.
Alrighty then. Yeah, the antenna is actually a 160 meter inverted L. Total about
about 180 feet, and the vertical section's about 70 feet. I feed it through a series capacitor to take the degree to resonance at 50 ohms, and she does a real nice job on 160, but it also tunes very nicely here on 40, so I occasionally will use it to get the vertical component if I need it, but most of the time I'll run the flat top. I have one of those as well. With that, I'll say back to you, KC9VKV from Alpha 2 Germany Foxtrot.
Roger, Dave. Well, gosh, your EQ, well, let's put it your dynamic range. Maybe we could improve that just a little bit. I think we could get you just a little bit fatter and still stay very clean. It starts with the compressor engaged at a 3. It's a very token amount, but it does what we need it to do, and that would be the beginning of our fattening process. Roger?
Okay, very good. So add a little bit more compression, you're saying?
Compressor on and at a 3. Where are you now, sir, on that compressor?
Well, there's a... let me take a look here. It's I got to go pull a menu down here and take a look, and let's see where we are here. Probably about 2.5 or so.
Yeah, because all we're looking for out of that compressor is about a third of the compressor capability, so it'd be a 3 out of 10, 30 out of 100. Let's assume then that you're in the ballpark on the compressor, and we move now to our ALC with mic gain in hand. And as you speak fairly rapidly, 100, 200, 300, so you can see what the ALC meter is doing, you want to adjust your mic level until your ALC meter is running mid-scale to 2/3. Mid-scale to 2/3 on your ALC meter by way of mic gain manipulation.
Okay, I adjusted the compensation a little bit, so maybe that's a little bit fatter. I'm just touching the 0 dB on the ALC here, so I don't think there's much more to go there. That's about where at least the setup that I've been taught how to do on this is where it should be.
Roger. Okay, then move to your equalization and a couple of clicks boost, top end treble EQ. Treble EQ boost to 2 clicks, additional from where you are.
Okay, we gave it 2 clicks, and what do you think of this?
Oh, beautiful. Nice articulation, nice and fat. And to hear your audio, if you go to YouTube and do a call it a search for KC9VKV followed by today's date, 10/8/21, will take you directly to this recording and give us a couple of days to get it uploaded. Roger?
Roger. Well, thank you. Really appreciate the help. It's I just installed new software here, and it's essentially a new rig. So it's always good to check in with somebody like yourself to see how things are going. And really appreciate it. Carry on, and hope to talk to you again sometime. KC9VKV from AA2GS.
Roger, Dave, 73, sir. Have a great afternoon and a beautiful weekend. All right, we got time for one more. If you have a radio you want to check out, give me a shout. About 4 stations. Loudest one, try it again. There's a Bravo Foxtrot station. Come back slowly and repeat your call sign, Roger.
Roger, it's November 9, Bravo Foxtrot, India, located in Grand Blanc, Michigan.
Roger, Michigan. And what radio are you running, sir?
We're running a Kenwood TS590, 100 watt, flat, no amplifier.
Alrighty, and what's the name there, sir?
Name is Bill, and the antenna is a Mosley.
Alrighty, Bill, I was running around just a little bit trying to find a little bit better copy. I think I've got it now. We could fatten you up there a little bit if you'd be interested, sir.
Yeah, I'm not real familiar with this radio, but I'm willing to work on it.
All right, sir. Do you know where your compressor is? Our setup procedure starts with you engaging your compressor at a 3. It's a token amount, but it does what we need it to do. Roger?
It does what we need it to do. Roger?
Roger, Roger, Bill. Well, Mother Nature is giving us a hard time right at the moment, and I'm going to bring up another SDR and see if I can get a better copy on you. It just takes just a moment to do this, and then we'll see what you're doing. Come back, if you would, and tell me the best thing you like about that 590 radio.
You like about that 590 radio?
Well, what I like about the radio, what I figured out so far is we out very well, and also seems to, when I'm transmitting, people seem to understand really well. So that I've had several good comments on it, but I'm not sure how it all works.
All right, Bill. So did you manage to get that compressor online at a 3? Compressor online at a 3 out of 30, I'm sorry, a 3 out of 10, or a 30 out of 100, depending on how your input to your compressor is labeled. Have you done that, sir?
No, I don't see anything that says compressor on here. See anything that says compressor on here. I've looked at everything on the front, and it's got a mic gain, but that's about it.
All right. If you would, you want to take some notes, and we'll do it that way, and then you can find things at your leisure. So note 1 is limiter on at a 3. Limiter on at a 3 out of 10, 30 out of 100. Limiter on, a 3 out of 10, 30 out of 100. And then move to your ALC with mic gain in hand, and as you speak fairly rapidly and transmit 100, 200, 300, and you're doing that because to bring the meter up so you can read it, as you're doing 100, 200, 300 at a fairly fast clip, adjust your mic gain until your ALC meter is running mid-scale to 2/3. Mid-scale to 2/3 on your ALC meter by way of mic gain control. Roger?
By way of mic gain control. Roger?
Roger, I've got that. Limiter 3 to 10 and ALC mic gain 2 to 3.
Roger, Roger. ALC meter running mid-scale to 2/3 as you adjust your mic gain to make it happen on your ALC. And then once you finish that, move to your equalization page and go 3 clicks treble EQ boost from wherever you are. 3 clicks treble boost additional from wherever you are on your EQ. Roger?
From wherever you are on your EQ. Roger?
Okay, equalizer, 3 clicks, treble wherever it is. Roger?
Yes, sir. And gosh, crank all that in and join me next Friday, and we'll see what we have there. In the meantime, if you want to hear your audio, if you go to YouTube and do a call letter search for KC9VKV, that's Kilo Charlie 9 Victor Kilo Victor, followed by today's date, 10/8/21, that will take you directly to this recording and give us a couple of days to get it uploaded. Roger?
A couple of days to get it uploaded. Roger?
Wonderful, and I thank you very much for your time. I appreciate it. I've never done this before.
Roger, Roger, Bill. Well, thanks for joining us, and if you get a chance, crank in those numbers and join us next Friday. We start at 3:30 on this frequency, 7188. So join us when you can there, and let me listen to you. between now and then, 73 to you, sir. Have a great afternoon and a beautiful weekend. And with that, gosh, we've come to the end of another network and airing, and so we appreciate everybody that participated. And if you did participate and want to hear your audio, if you go to YouTube and do a call letter search for KC9VKV, that's Kilo Charlie 9 Victor Kilo Victor, followed by today's date, 10/8/21. That will take you directly to this recording. Give us a couple of days to get it uploaded. So, with that, we say, we wanted to, well, we'll do that later. So let me say 73 to everyone, and this is KC9VKV returning the frequency to normal amateur radio use. This is KC9VKV clear.